Welcome to my poem dedicated to those who were affected by the Hurricane Katrina tragedies in New Orleans, Louisiana. The title of this poem is When the Leaves Broke by Mansour Muhammad. The Gulf breathed in and held its breath. They exulted, a fury older than the maps that drew those streets in careful lines: Ninth Ward, Lakeview, St. Bernard. Names that tasted like somebody's grandmother, like red beans on a Monday afternoon. August came with the warnings, stitched into the radio static. But the water does not wait. For the ones who cannot leave, for the ones whose roots run deeper than the highways heading north. And when the leaves gave their last confession, the river married the sea in the living rooms of people who had only ever asked for one more song, one more Sunday, one more plate passed hand to hand across a porch that held the evening. And when the leaves gave their last confession, the river married the sea in the living rooms of people who only ever asked for one more song, one more Sunday. One more plate passed hand to hand across a porch that held the evening. Children rode the currents on doors that once swung open to neighbors, and grandmothers held their grandbabies above a tide that knew no name for mercy, whispering prayers into the wet air. We are still here, we are still here. The Superdome became a cathedral of waiting, tens of thousands breathing the same stale air, the same silence that falls when a country looks away from its own reflection. But listen, beneath the wreckage, beneath the grief that settled in the bones of every block, there was a trumpet. There was a trumpet. There always was a trumpet. Some man on a rooftop playing into the dark, because that is what New Orleans does. It sings back at the storm. It dances in the mud. It rebuilds the porch before the house, because the porch is where the living happens. They scattered us like seeds, they said, across this country. Houston, Atlanta, Memphis, miles and miles from the gumbo pot, but seeds do what seeds do. They remember the soil. And one by one, they came back to streets that smell like salts and loss, rolled up their sleeves and said the only prayer that matters: we will build this back with the same hands that built it the first time. So when you speak of Katrina, do not speak only of the water. Speak of the hands. Speak of the music that refused to drown. Speak of a people who loved the city so deeply they carried it inside their chests, across every exile mile, and brought it home again. Thank you.